Underdogs is a story of an athlete who was once upon a time one of the greatest athletes in his mind, being forced to go back to his old neighborhood and, find his way again and tap into who he is rather than who he thought he was. And it's a learning lesson. It's a journey of, someone's career, someone's past, and someone's future. At the same time, engaging with old friends and new friends through the kids, through the relationship that I had with my partner Kareem and the relationship I had with my girl Sharice, just sparking up old flames and, being able to go back and see my coach to get me the spirit of being who I'm supposed to be, because at times my character gets lost within the idea of him being, a superstar and being a regular human being. Jaycen Jennings is the greatest to ever walk on grass. He's fly, flamboyant. He's a winner, sore loser. He's an asshole. So we don't really mix a match like that. The only thing that we similar at is probably we look alike. We brought in great writers to take my story and my idea, and we brought in some kids from my football league to help us pattern and shape the story, and then we brought in real people who could help this become a real movie and not just, something that's like a Saturday afternoon special. We want this to hit you in the heart, and for people to really understand that this is something that I treasure. This is like one of my babies, you know what I'm saying, to be able to present this motion picture and to be able to present it with a great director and a great film company. Snoop Youth Football League was created in 2005. We've done a lot of great works in the community. We've sent a lot of kids to high school to graduate, a lot of kids to Division I colleges, and then all over colleges to graduate. We sent a lot of kids to the NFL. We got Rhodes Scholars, lawyers, firemen, police chiefs. Like, we've done a lot of great work in the community from a football league that started, over 15 years ago to now. We're in a great space. And then like 3 or 4 years ago, we started the Snoop Youth Special Stars, where we deal with kids with disabilities and special needs. So now we compliment all of the kids. We're not missing and we're not leaving no kid behind. So we got the kids that are athletic, and then we got the special needs kids. And it's just a culmination of who I am, as far as like I love to give back and I love to be a part of these kids' life, because I'm the biggest kid in the room. Yeah, I think the Underdogs is like a team that I coached once upon a time. I've coached a lot of teams that were just great, and they were superlative, and they just outmatched everybody. And then recently I coached a couple of underdog teams that wasn't expected to do much. Kids never knew how to play football. This was their first year, and then we grew over a time period of me becoming a better coach, them becoming better players. I'm learning from them learning from me. And then eventually these kids end up winning the championship and going to high school and then going to college. And then some of them in the NFL right now, and they still call me coach to this day. So that's the biggest achievement to me, is to be able to still remain coach years after I coach these underdogs. I think this movie right here is a community rebuilder. It'll help build the community to show that this is the way the community is supposed to be. Everybody's looking out for each other. We're supposed to cater to and make sure that we all are accompanying each other and supporting each other. And that's what this story is mainly about. It's about a successful athlete who made it, but he moved away from his hood, but now he's forced to go back, and he's finding out that he never left, but at the same time, the people from the hood has always had his back, and this is gonna help him become the real person that he's supposed to be and not the superstar. Jaycen and Kareem. Kareem was one of Jaycen's childhood friends. They used to spend the night together. They played football together. They did everything together practically. But Jaycen chose another path as far as athletics and school and education, and Kareem chose his path. But it never knocked them from being friends. It took one on a different journey. And now that they're back together again, Kareem is still in the mind state of, we still kids. We still buddies from elementary school. It's just the way it was. Everything is just like it was, like it never changed. But Jaycen is so far detached to where he feels distant, but Kareem is pulling him back in, because this is the reality that he's been missing. He's been missing somebody to check him and give him things that are truth rather than, you know, blowing smoke up Jaycen's ass, because that's what he's used to. Working with Charles Stone, let me tell you, I was honored to work with him because one of my favorite movies is Paid in Full. And when I found out that that's the movie that he directed, I was like, oh, I gotta work with him. So I'm expecting some gangster shit, but then I'm like, okay, this movie ain't that. So when we get to the point of actually shooting the movie, I'm noticing how he's like, every time we shoot, he'll come over to me and he'll talk to me and he gives me information and direction on how the scene could be better or how I could do it in a different way. And that's what I thrive for. That's what I long for as an actor. I long for a director to actually direct me and not just feel like, okay, he's got it, he can, no, say it this way, no, think about this when you do it. Put a little bit of this in there, no, come in hot, no, think about it before you do this, turn this way. Like, that's the part of an actor that I've always dreamed of having a great director to direct me. And that's what I'm getting in this movie right now. I'm getting great direction. Hopefully it looks as good as it feels, you know, to where people can enjoy the shit the way I've been enjoying myself as the lead in this movie. The comedy in this movie is, it's roller coaster because it's not typical. It's not your typical urban comedy. You know, you're dealing with kids and you're dealing with all different races and you're dealing with different genres. So we wanted to make sure that we hit all of the angles that come with Snoop Dogg, right? Because Snoop Dogg is the star. So when you think of the star, you think about, okay, who is he playing? Jaycen Jennings. Well, he has to bring a little bit of Snoop Dogg to Jaycen Jennings. So this will enable me to captivate and cultivate the whole audience at the same time while doing my thing under the Jaycen Jennings moniker. This is like some real deal, what I love dealing with, like kids who experience wanting to be grown, but the adult gives them enough room to hang themselves and then he puts them back in their place. That's the way I grew up. Like, I couldn't cuss around my mother, but my uncles, I can cuss like around them. You know what I'm saying? So it was like certain things I could get away with, and I feel like this movie is so perfect for that because it enables these kids to be real. I think the growth, to watch this character grow on screen, to watch the kids grow on screen, to watch the relationship grow, like just to see things come together. Like, it's beautiful when you can watch a movie unfold right before your eyes and see the magic happen. And just to see all of the beautiful things that we thought that could happen when we created this movie, when we put it on paper, when we had the table read, when we did the screen testing to actually shooting it. Like, that's the beauty of it all. Working with the rest of the cast, well, Tika is my friend. That's my homegirl. She been my homegirl for a while. Boom, Mike Epps. Meet him back in the days, my homeboy. George Lopez back in the days. So when it's time to do this movie and it's casting, you know, certain names pop up, I naturally just say, oh, that's his role. Oh, that's her role. And when they do the screen test and do the reading with me, it's right out the park because you can feel the chemistry. So to be able to work with your friends and know that they're professional and they have a resume and they really great at what they do makes me better. I think the tone is necessary with the world that we're living in right now. There's so much drama and negativity and bad energy. This is a great energy movie. It has a little bit of those elements that you want to see. You want to root for the underdog. You want to see family come together. You want to see an argument come to an understanding. You want to see resolution. You want to see all of the great things that can happen in life. And I think this movie gives you that. And it's covering every perspective from the kids all the way to the adults, to the athletes, to the entertainers, just to the regular people that live in the regular world. So the Underdogs is something, like I say, that could actually change the face of the world because it's an underdog story, from underdog to wonder dog.
I play Sharice in Underdogs. I play Trey's mom, he's a kid who is at times troubled, but like he's ultimately a really good kid. And I play also Snoop's Jaycen Jennings, high school sweetheart. So the through line of the story is kind of this unit who has moved from high school to where we are today in our careers, and we meet where we are now, like modern history, and we go from there. Sharice is basically, you know, she runs her own clinic in in Long Beach, and she is trying to keep together. I think parents in general try to keep their kids busy so they stay out of trouble. And she's also kind of the lead mom of the football team, the league that they're in, her son's in. So she's trying to, like, you find her basically in the beginning trying to hold this team together. There are coaches that keep quitting on them, don't believe in them, they think they're just crap, and she's just the one force that has been stable for these boys, and she believes in these boys, including her son. So it's a group of kids who are just trying to find their way in life, and I think she's the one person who's like, I got you, and we're gonna make this happen, and she ultimately does. I think Underdogs is about a lot of different things, but ultimately it's about people who are counted out of different systems, whether it's your career or whether it's your, the society that you're in, or people kind of don't look to you for the things that they used to or never did. So I think it's about a group of people finding their way back to who they really are, and believing in themselves and believing in each other, and overcoming what other people think, no matter what they think. Jaycen, obviously in the beginning, he's doing it for his own selfish reasons, trying to come into, we basically kind of coincidentally meet in Long Beach, and he's doing community service and kind of meets us on the field where we're at, and takes it so that he can, on social media, become more loving and lovable. So I think it's I don't know, I think it's obviously for selfish reasons he tries to get in good with what the world thinks of him, but ultimately these kids and myself really win him over, and we trust him. I think he makes his way back into our lives, but it's not easy. I don't think Sharice makes it easy, because I think of their history that they've had, where for selfish reasons they've broken up, and I think it's a fun story, because what I love about this story is you get to see Sharice and him when they were younger, and then you see them now and who they are, and you get that through line of a story, so that you care about these two characters and what they implement in each other and in the people around them. Trey, I think he has his own issues of like any little boy, they're trying to figure out who they are, and I love that too. It's like a young coming of age of these little boys who are just trying to find their way. And I think Trey is a leader in his own right, and sometimes leaders don't know how to handle the pressures of holding a team on their shoulders. So they're like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do everything, me. And I think sometimes that relates back to Jaycen Jennings, and he sees himself in Trey. And I think, as a mom, you can do so much, and I think sometimes like having this guy who's played football, who knows that kind of badass attitude, who grew up in the same place that Trey did, he sees himself within Trey and says, Trey, you actually have talent, but it's not going to go anywhere if you don't listen to anybody, and you're going to end up like me, meaning Jaycen. And at that moment, I think when he recognizes that, Sharice recognizes like, yo, he gets it now. Like he recognizes that he was an asshole, that he did make mistakes, that he was wrong, and he's trying to ring the alarm for Trey. Yeah, boss lady, the obvious inspiration for Sharice, and I was honored that when I met her, she was just like, I'm so happy. She was just like happy that I'm playing, and I playing her, or an inspiration of her, and I just love their love story. When they walk on set, I was just watching them, and how they don't always have to talk, you know what I mean? That you just feel their bond, and they're just super connected. And so I hope I took some of that and mixed it in with what we're doing. And I just love their love story. I love that she's known him since high school, and I love that they're still together after all these years, especially in our business, which, a year is like 20 years. You know what I mean? So they've been together for a very long time. I don't know. I just think they're universally loved by so many people. And I think this story, them inspiring this story, I think is something that I think everybody could relate to and hope for in their own lives. So not only is it a football action story, it's also a love story, right? Two people finding their way back to each other after all this time. For Snoop, I think why people love him in general, and I think I'm talking about across the board, is because he's so authentic to just who he is. He's not trying to be anyone else. He's from Long Beach. He oozes that, but he just oozes like an authentic personality, right? And I think nowadays people just want to see, I think they want to see comedy, and I think they want to see fun, and there's a lot of irreverence in there. So I think he balances the relationship between like obvious commercial success, but still being who he is, but also the authenticity of like this story of a football team that he actually did coach, a love life where he actually did end up being with somebody from high school, boss lady, and so, yeah, I mean, and there's just so many aspects of honesty in this film that I think people are gonna really feel. I was on this show, my first job, One Life to Live, and he's like, I love that show, and so I've known him for a very long time, and we've stayed in touch, and he's been the same person in the sense of kindness and funny, and just shows so much love and never changes no matter who's around. And I always respected that about him, and I'm just glad that I can work with him in such a longer period of time, because I've really gotten to be in the presence of an icon. I'm like, you're an icon, dude. I just watched the Super Bowl over again, because of you. And he'll say something like, man, I was on that stage. I was a fan too. I couldn't believe I was there. And so I think, again, his authenticity of like being grateful for where he is and knowing where he came from, I think that's why he's Snoop, and I think that's why everybody loves him. And so I'm so grateful to be able to still work with him. I think the comedy lies in the irreverence of the way the kids talk. I think the writers did an excellent job capturing the personality of Jaycen Jennings, which obviously is infused with some of Snoop, but I think people are going to be surprised because Snoop's in every aspect of the film. And so I don't know if he's gotten this opportunity to show his comedy chops, also his drama chops, and then also working with kids. I think any community that has, that is given a platform to shine, especially places like Long Beach or, any hood, you know what I mean? I think anywhere you go, when even if somebody does something in Queens, where I'm from, you're like, or Long Island, you're just like, oh, that's my hood. And I think, especially for Long Beach, I think it's going to mean a lot to people. I think people are going to be excited that their community is called out, and they might see different elements of that, and whether it's in food, whether it's in blocks, whether it's in poly high, whatever that looks like. I think being shouted out and basically saying we see you, and Snoop didn't forget, and you're important to me. I think that's something that any community would love. So I'm sure Long Beach is going to be super happy about it. I think people are ready for something light and fun, but also something with some honesty and realness. And Snoop Dogg's in it. I mean, Mike Epps is in it. George Lopez is in it. I'm in it. And then there's a bunch of kids that are freaking hilarious. And I just think it's they've done a beautiful job. And I know we're at the end, but I'm excited myself to see it.
Kareem is one of Jaycen's, who's played by Snoop, one of his neighborhood friends. Jaycen ends up giving Kareem an opportunity to coach the kids. It was a great thing that Jaycen seen some use in Kareem, and he kind of gelled right with the kids because he came with a like a love, a tough love reality to the kids. And sometimes working with kids, especially kids who talk like that, you gotta have a little edge. If not, they'll run you over. So I think Kareem came in handy when it came to that. Oh man, Snoop is a pleasure to work with. No pressure. A joy to work with. Always cool, sometimes you work with other actors and stuff, you work with people, and you just don't get that natural feeling. It's almost like your friends working with each other. I think the comedy fans are gonna cry, they're gonna laugh, they're gonna be mad, they're gonna be sad, they're gonna cheer, they're gonna do a lot of things because this movie is based off of a lot of different emotions. You know, the fact that they're working with kids, that kids are working in this movie, it has a really sub-story that means a lot. You know, this is giving back on another scale. I mean, and Snoop in his real life, that's what he do. You know, he runs his football leagues. He sent a lot of kids to college. You know, he's doing this for real. So the movie is going to be real authentic to the audience. Well, you know, that's one thing about when you put together a movie, you always have a vision of what the movie looks like. And I think they did a great job casting this. You know, everybody on the movie set, besides the kids, are pretty much veterans. We've been in the game for a long time. Tika, she does great work. Very beautiful, always play that beautiful love interest. George Lopez came in, did his thing. Andrew. So, you know, when you put the new with the veterans, you end up getting that full effect. I think people should go see this movie, and especially if you from my age group, you're gonna always remember the Bad News Bears. And if you knew, we all know about the football leagues, the youth football leagues. You're gonna love this movie. This is about heart. This is about fun. And like, everybody got kids, you know. You're gonna be able to enjoy this. This is a family movie. It's cursing, but you know, we live in a rough society. I don't think nobody's gonna be offended by hearing a curse word or two.
What is Underdogs about? It's about a group of misfits in a football team who have this coach named Jaycen Jennings, who has played professional football about 20 years ago, and he is now coaching this group of misfits in a football team. Tony is one of those kids. First off, I think he's a straight A student. He's a straight A student, and he loves football, but he tells his parents that he's at mathletes, because I don't think his parents approve of him being at football. But Tony loves football. He loves football. And besides fumbling, he's pretty good at it. He's also definitely one of those kids who swear a lot. So I think that's kind of like the thing. It's like the joke. You don't expect him to be one of those kids who are swearing all the time. You expect him to be like a straight A student or something. Working with Snoop, it's fun. Sometimes kids, they want to try and roast him, or they want to try and burn him, and he just comes up with the most hilarious responses. And it's also really fun working with him. You know, he's humble. I know a lot of people think that maybe celebrities, they could be jerks, but no, he's really humble. He's really cool. I like to work with him. I think in Underdogs is really about a team who really bonds together, and they really get better together as a team. And I think it's also about how Jaycen, or Snoop Dogg, he also becomes better as a coach and better as a person in general, you know, coaching these kids. And I just really think the whole experience is really about bonding and just really, you know, being better as a person.
So it's a football movie, and it's more than just football, really. There's a lot of great storytelling going on too, beyond just the football, which is really interesting to me. Gary's more of a nerdy character. He likes Game of Thrones and a lot of that other stuff. All of his other teammates at the beginning seem to really pick on him and don't really like him, but at the end, Gary really warms up to his teammates and stuff, and they all become really good friends. So yeah, happy ending. Oh, well, I feel like Snoop Dogg's an incredible actor, and he's a really nice guy, you know. really straight up, really stand up guy. You know, really like him, man. He's a good guy. I don't think it's just a football movie. I think it's more of like an emotional roller coaster, but it's really fun roller coaster. Like you have those roller coasters that go on for way too long or too short, and then you have those really good roller coasters. I think this is one of the really good roller coasters.
Underdogs is about basically like a football team who started off as nothing, and then we just kept on building from there, you know, with our coach, and he just kept learning how like to deal with us and deal with kids in general. And as we kept growing, we learned some things, you know, pushed each other. Was some hard times at first, but we just kept, you know, going through. Dwayne, my character, Dwayne, he's like a hype beast. Like he likes drip, all of that, you know what I'm saying? The orange sleeves, wristbands, all of that. And, you know, he just super swaggy, he cool, he chill, you know, but sadly, get some of the stuff taken, but I get it back. What happens to the Underdogs is like, at first, we just a team who doesn't really care about football for real. Like, we just a team. So basically, we just have like these green jerseys that don't really look right, you know. We a team. I still got like armbands and stuff, but like, we just a team that don't really care about football. Like, we don't really care. So when we meet our coach, he, at first, he didn't really care either. He just wanted to talk to Trey's mom. So he didn't really care, but as the movie progresses, he learns how to cooperate with us, you know, how to teach us, train us, all of that. He gets us new jerseys, new pads, everything. So after that, we just like a actual football team that actually cares about football. I think this movie is really about like a team who just doesn't care and a coach who doesn't care either. But like, you know, as the movie keeps going, the coach start learning how to coach, the team start learning how to play. Like, this movie is really about like how everybody just builds together as one big like team and family, like how they just progress.
I play Snoop Dogg's coach, Feist, from Long Beach Polytechnic. And a flashback where I'm the same size, and in the future I'm the same size. I just got grayer, which Latinos, I think we say the same size our whole lives. Underdogs was described, I mean, first of all, Bad News Bears is one of the greatest sports movies of all time. Even though it was kids, it's with all the best movies. And this is described to me as the Bad News Bears of football. And I already seen the drop, like Mike Epps and everybody, and Snoop, and then Snoop and I have this thing where, you know, we've been friends for a long, long time, and he just like texted me, I want you to be my mentor in this movie. And I said, yes, absolutely. I hadn't read the script and didn't know who was involved. But for him, it's like, yes. I mean, we've done so many things together that to do this here was very special, because other things are in Los Angeles and they're kind of insular things. But, you know, to come to Atlanta and be here for him and have that scene, some very dramatic scenes together, and then some fun scenes together, I'd do anything for Snoop. You know that he loves music, and then, you know, you would see him show up at professional football games or more college on the sidelines and stuff like that. And you don't know how deep his love of football ran, but I think his love of football is just as parallel to his love of music. I mean, it's just really such an identity for football, but also for Long Beach and Long Beach Polytechnic, which they're using the same logos and the same uniforms. So for him to honor his school and honor all of the great athletes that have come from that school, dozens of guys who've gone on to the pros, is pretty amazing. And for somebody who's revered and who's such an icon as Snoop to do it, gives it the credibility, but also that shade of cool that you wish everybody's gonna wish they were in this movie. We just shot this fun scene with all the parents on one side and all of the calls, you know, good calls and bad calls, and then they play this great song and everybody's up and dance to the song. And, you know, I'm from the hood, so the hood comes out, and the hood's always gonna come out. And it's fun. And I mean, that was my last scene in the movie, and I've done maybe 30 movies, but I don't think I've ever wrapped a movie where it was as much fun as Underdogs was.
Underdogs is about some kids who grew up with less money, that's just talented in different ways, and they just need somebody to support them. And Jaycen Jennings, he's trying to support them as hard as he can, but just a little off. We first met Jaycen because we seen him picking up doo-doo, and because he got in a car accident. And while he was doing that, who else? Tony bumped into Snoop Dogg, and we started laughing at him, and we was like joking on him. And he went up to my mama. Mama was like, she know him. I was like, she know him? Hold on. So then they actually knew each other. Then he came up to one of our practices, wanted to be our coach. But we didn't want him to be our coach because he was just cursing at us. So that was a shocking moment for us, for him being our coach. He's a sports guy, and I love sports. He loves football, I love basketball. I'm all about basketball, he all about football. Snoop Dogg, some people don't act how they really act on TV, but he actually funny. He's a funny guy. He be joking around with the kids like he actually flame us in real life, and everybody be laughing. Tika nice, actually. She's nice. She all about work. While somebody be talking on set, she be reading her lines. Or when she don't need her lines, she'll be thinking in her head. I heard her saying different ways like, oh, I did this. Oh, I did this. Like she'll say the same lines over and over till she get perfection. She's a hard worker.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and comment on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released.